Good, happy Sunday evening, January 16, 2022. I'm Riley King. Welcome to this Sunday evening edition of the Riley King Newscast, right here on the Riley King Network. We have a lot of news to get to this Sunday evening, so let's get started right now. First up, 2.3 magnitude earthquake reported near San Bornton. Let's take a listen to that video from WMUR News 9.
Welcome to the Giganet. Fidium Fiber has arrived. Say hello to better, faster fiber internet delivered right to your home.
If you felt your home shake a little yesterday, you're not alone. The U.S. Geological Society reported a 2.3 magnitude earthquake in New Hampshire yesterday. It says the shake happened in the area of Sanbornton shortly before 9 a.m. We received a viewer email about this. This is the first earthquake detected in the state since last November.
Okay, and there you go on that video and that report. Nashua Fire Chief set to retire after 35 years of service. Let's take a listen to that video from WMUR News 9.
If you have always wanted a career in driving large trucks, here's what a couple of our graduates have to say about commercial driving school.
The low student to teach.
And we're wishing a happy retirement to longtime Nashua Fire Chief Brian Rhodes. Chief Rhodes started his career in 1987 and committed 35 years of service to the Nashua community. The department shared the announcement Friday. It plans to officially swear in Assistant Chief Steve Buxton as the new fire chief beginning in March.
Okay, and there you go on that video and that report. Dartmouth College adds international students to its need-blind admission program admissions policy. Let's take a listen to that video from WMUR News 9.
Welcome to the Giganet. Fidium Fiber has arrived. Say hello to better, faster fiber internet delivered right to your home. Fidium offers gig speeds, whole home Wi-Fi, and no gimmick.
Dartmouth College will now include international students in its need-blind admissions policy. The newly announced rule means the school will consider accepting students without knowing their financial background. Dartmouth is one of 6 U.S. colleges to offer need-blind admissions to undergraduate applicants, while also meeting all of their demonstrated need, regardless of citizenship. Dartmouth official says the change was made possible by an anonymous $40 million gift.
Okay, and there you go on that video and that report. Newly upgraded Colonial Container Terminal welcomes largest container ship to ever dock in Boston. Let's take a listen to that video from WCVB Boston.
It's all here, and it's going to be good. We've got the loan in place, and once we get the cash management dialed in, that'll free you up for the good stuff.
I appreciate it, brother.
No.
Bank does that?
Okay. Okay.
Okay, and there you go on that video from WCVB Boston. And here is a look at the article. Take a look. And if you want to read this article again, we will share a link with you on the Riley King Network Facebook page. Police dash cam video shows traffic stop that led to $325K settlement for Maine man. Let's take a listen to that video from WMTW News 8 Maine.
Put your hands up! Stop! Stop! Stop!
Dr. Stephen Brennan, a pediatrician in York, pulled over after police say he was flashing his high beams back in September of 2019. The video shows Officer Jonathan Rogers ordering Dr. Brennan to follow his commands.
Stop moving! Stop! Stop! Turn around! Turn around! I'm gonna send my dog, you're gonna get bit. Get on the ground, you're gonna get bit!
Just as Dr. Brennan kneels to the ground, the canine rushes in.
Stop resisting!
As they wrestle to the ground, the officer admits to an open hand slap to the eye.
Put your hand behind your back!
Let the dog. Leave the dog alone. Leave her.
Don't move. Don't move.
I shouldn't be on the ground like this.
You should have followed commands and not jumped out of your car charging at me.
Now backup is on the scene, and before the ambulance arrives, this admission.
Sorry. I'm sorry it's this way too, man. I really am.
York's acting police chief Owen Davis issued this statement as the video and settlement was announced. It was determined that our police officer followed all department operating procedures and used the appropriate amount of force necessary to gain control of the situation. The statement went on to say the officer attempted to de-escalate the situation by using numerous verbal commands, but as the video shows, the person refused to comply. Dr. Brennan's lawyer said the decision to release the canine was neither reasonable nor necessary. Brennan sustained extensive wounds. Resisting arrest charges were later dropped.
York's town manager says the $325,000 settlement was decided by the town's insurance company and does not reflect any wrongdoing by York police. I'm Jim Keithley, WMTW News 8.
Okay, and there you go on that video from WMTW News 8 Maine. Rawson reports new tax rule for payment apps. Let's take a listen to that video from Rawson reports.
Welcome to the Gigernet. Fidium Fiber has arrived. Say hello to better, faster fiber internet delivered right to your home.
Hi, welcome to the Rundown. Good to see you. And you can see I'm not in the studio again this week. I am still home, recovering from COVID-19, finishing out my quarantine. I feel great, back in studio next week. That's the plan. But the Rundown must go on, and we have some important stories to tell you about, including the IRS just out with some important dates for you to mark down about filing your taxes this year. The first date I want you to mark down, January 14th. The IRS says this is the first day, January 14th, that the IRS free file program will be open for business. This is for you if you're making $73,000 or less. So if you made $73,000 or less in 2021, they allow you to file before everybody else to get your refund in and your return in faster. And if you're using any of the professional services that help you file electronically for free, that's the day that opens. For everybody else, the date is January 24th. So on January 24th, that's when filing begins for everybody to get your returns in and to try to get your refunds faster. Here's another date I want you to know about. This year's tax deadline. It's actually a couple days later than it usually is. Taxes are due April 18th this year, except if you live in Maine or Massachusetts. If you live in Maine or Massachusetts, you actually get a little extra time because it's Patriots Day. That falls on the 18th, so your deadline slides back a day to April 19th. Remember, the IRS is super backed up because of the pandemic, so if you want your refund on the earlier side, try to get your return in as soon as possible because it could take a little extra time. Our next story, while we're speaking of taxes, some changes if you use PayPal, Venmo, or Zelle, those payment services. Starting this year, if you spend $600 or more in transactions on those sites, the IRS is going to know about it. Yep, PayPal, Venmo, and Zelle are going to report it. But here's the good news. It's only for business transactions. So if you have a side hustle and you're selling goods or services and you make more than $600, it will be reported to the IRS. But if you're just paying rent to your friend or for some dinner or for some pizza and it's personal, it will not be counted. Financial experts say check the Q&A pages on PayPal, Venmo, Zelle to find out the exact details about when they'll be reporting to the IRS and how you fit into it. Next, I want to talk about TikTok. And, remember we used to go to doctor's offices and it would be do that elevator music, kind of lulling you to sleep. Now, from doctor's offices to bars to restaurants, you may see some TikTok. There's a streaming service out there called Atmosphere, and they're going to be putting people on it where they collect all of the most popular TikToks going on, from cooking to challenges to just about anything you can think of on TikTok, putting them together, and they're going to be allowing them to be streamed in doctor's offices and bars and restaurants and places like that. The streaming service is called Atmosphere, so look for that soon. Some entertainment while you're waiting for the doctor. Hope all is well. We'll see you back here again next week for the rundown. Back to you.
Okay, and there you go. That was Rawson Reports. Thank you for that, Rawson. And that is a look at your news. Now let's take a look at your weather. Here is a weather forecast from meteorologist Jacqueline Thomas. Snow, mix, and rain overnight into Monday morning. Here is a full weather forecast from Jacqueline Thomas.
Welcome to the GigaNet. Fidium Fiber has arrived. Say hello to better, faster fiber internet delivered right to your home.
Thanks for watching. I'm meteorologist Jacqueline Thomas. As we've headed through today, of course, we saw some quieter conditions, but that is not the case as we head into our Monday. We're tracking our next storm system that is going to bring some heavy impacts across the state. We're talking about heavy snow and then a mixed rain as we head through Monday. That's going to start as we head overnight as snow, and it's going to lead to some tricky travel, especially in the morning hours. And we're also talking about coastal impacts from this storm, too. And even though the coast may not be getting the most snowfall from this, we're going to see strong, potentially damaging winds and the chance for some coastal flooding. So what do we have in place? Well, we have a winter storm warning across most of the state. That's what you see here in pink. And that is in effect right up through Monday afternoon with that heavy snow expected, the significant snow totals, especially north, and then the tricky travel expected as well. And then a winter weather advisory as you head through most of Rockingham County, except for the immediate coast, but the coastal concerns are going to be a little bit different than what we see inland. We have that chance for coastal flooding. There is a coastal flood warning in effect. That's what this green color is too. And we also have a high wind warning for the coast. Southeast gusts are possible from 55 to 65 miles per hour, and those are damaging winds. So that is a concern as we head into Monday along the coastal plain from Rye and Portsmouth down through the Hamptons. And so you're going to want to use caution if you are along the coast to make sure that you're protected and also that you're prepared in case the power goes out. Power outages will be likely as well. Also, splash over. High tide is just before 11 a.m. and the morning hours are going to be the most significant hours with this storm as far as seeing those impacts. So yeah, coastal flooding, some beach erosion, all going to be possibilities with this storm as well. So what are we looking at? Well, as we head through tonight, overnight, lows are still going to be cold. Some single digits north, teens as you head south. So as this storm approaches and moves in overnight, it's going to have to encounter a lot of cold air in place initially. And so with that, it's going to be starting off as snow across the state in those overnight hours. As we look at the hourly forecast, you'll notice, though, that temperatures do quickly warm up as we head through the day and this storm system tracks across New England. Because of where the center of low pressure is going to be tracking, we'll be able to tap into the warm side of this storm and actually get those temperatures to be boosted up quite a bit as we head towards the afternoon. And so because of that, we're going to see a changeover from snow to a little mixing and then rain likely across southern, especially southeastern parts of the state before this really tapers off and starts to wind down through the rest of the afternoon. So morning hours are going to be the worst if you have to head out at all. Satellite and radar, of course, has been quiet for our Sunday, but these clouds have been starting to lift north, and we're seeing those clouds start to overspread southern parts of New Hampshire, and that's going to continue to be the case in these next handful of hours through the evening. The clouds will be thickening up ahead of this storm system, and look at the size of the storm. This is what's going to be tracking east and northeast along the coast and eventually bring us these conditions for Monday. So here's what the timeline looks like, timing things out through the overnight hours. This mainly starts after midnight, but by 1, 2 in the morning, we'll start to see snow coming down, and it's going to track in from south to north. So southwestern New Hampshire will likely get some snow showers first, back through Cheshire County and Jaffrey, and then eventually pushing into Manchester and up towards Lebanon as well during the overnight hours. Here's 6 in the morning. So if you have to head out early, now it is a holiday, so maybe you have the day off from work and you don't have to head out. That's the good thing, right, is that hopefully with the holiday, there'll be less commuter traffic in the morning hours, because if this was a normal workday, this would be a pretty ugly commute if you had to be on the roads. Notice that we're seeing mainly snow across the state, and these darker colored areas of bluish purple, that's indicating heavy snowfall rates. So snow's going to be coming down very heavily through the overnight into the early morning hours, and notice right along the coast, these yellows indicating rain coming down. So there's going to be a sharp cutoff from where we see snow and that quick changeover to rain. So along the coast, this is mainly going to provide rain, but it is also going to provide potentially damaging winds and those coastal impacts like beach erosion and coastal flooding. As we continue to push through time a little bit, here's 8:30 in the morning now, a couple hours later. Notice how this edge of rain and warm air starts to nudge its way a little bit further inland. So Manchester will likely see a changeover to rain on Monday, but before that changeover happens, there'll likely already be a good few inches of snow on the ground because of the snowfall from overnight, and especially if we tap into some of those heavier snowfall rates before that changeover occurs. So keep that in mind. That, yeah, it may be raining when you wake up if you don't get up until 10, 11 o'clock, but before then, there will have been snow coming down, and there'll likely be a good slushy mess as that rain first comes down too. So travel's going to be tricky right through the morning. By the time we head into the afternoon, notice that we see this precipitation start to taper off. So the steady precipitation comes to an end as we head through the afternoon, but notice we're still getting solid snow up north even until the noon hour. And so with that, that is where those highest snowfall totals are going to be, because you're just going to get that many more hours and that much more time of snow coming down before you even see any kind of changeover, if the changeover makes it that far. Now, I do think to the lakes region, you could get a little bit of a mix and a changeover, but then north of the mountains, it'll be pretty tough to come by, and you're likely staying all snow. Now, through Monday afternoon, that continues to pull away, but we'll see lingering snow showers behind this system across the mountains and across the North Country. So additional light snowfall accumulation possible through the rest of Monday there in those areas, whereas to southern New Hampshire will have dried out. And then as we head through Monday night into Tuesday, it will be dry. So what are we looking at? Well, the places that stay all snow, as we were just pointing out up north, that's where you could see a quick 6 to 12 inches of snow from this storm system. So that's pretty significant. And it doesn't take too far or too long before you really start to see a drop off in those totals because of that mixing and that changeover that is expected. So 4 to 8 inches from Laconia even down through Jaffrey and over towards Keene as well. And then as you head through Concord, you can still pick up a good few inches of snow before we see that changeover nudging inland. Same thing in Manchester. And then at the coast, it's going to be tough to see any snow because that changeover terrain is just going to happen so quickly. You're right along the water's edge, and the water, of course, much warmer than the air that we've been seeing. So definitely going to be mostly a rain event for the coast, but that's also where we're going to see the strongest winds with this storm and those types of impacts as well. Now, there are going to be some gusty winds across the state to 40, 45 miles per hour, but the damaging wind potential is going to be limited to that coastal plain, and that's why we have those concerns specifically for that area. Otherwise, rest of the 7-day forecast, fairly quiet for the most part as we head towards late Wednesday, early Thursday. A little clipper system's going to swing by, and that could bring a few snow showers to spots, and then some cold settles back in again as we head towards the end of the week.
Okay, and there you go on that weather forecast from meteorologist Jacqueline Thomas. And that does it for this evening edition of the Riley King Newscast right here on the Riley King Network. Thank you for tuning in and watching. Have a great evening. Good night and goodbye.